Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers at home and around the world. Welcome you to Global TV's news cycle live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Judith Peters. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has nominated Abbas Balariba as a ministerial replacement for the former Kaduna governor Nasiru El-Rufai. The replacement was convened and later read by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio at the plenary on Tuesday. Balarabe's name was read alongside Jamila Ibrahim and Ayodele Olawande as Minister of Youth and Minister of State for Youth, respectively, who were earlier nominated by the President. As well, the federal government has called for stakeholders' collaboration in the health sector towards improved access to health care. The Vice President Kashim Shettima made the call at a dinner organized in honor of the Special Advisor to the President on Health, Salma Anas Ibrahim, by the Southern Borno Stakeholders Forum in Abuja. He urged Nigerians to trust Anas while expressing confidence that she will deliver on her job. In her remarks, Anas noted that President Tinubu was passionate about the health of women and children and that he was doing all he can to ensure health gets to them. She also called for support to ensure the success of the Renewed Hope agenda of the President. The Coordinator African Health Budget Network AHBN, Aminu Magashi, urged Anas to use her office to strengthen health security agenda in the country. It called on the President through the Office of the SA Health for the funding and implementation of the Action Plan for National Health Security, which is in the process of being finalized. Magashi also called for the full implementation, early release, efficient and accountability utilization of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. The FCT Police Command has paraded 25 suspected criminals arrested for various crimes in the territory. Parading the suspect, the Commissioner of Police FCT Command, Haruna Galba, warned the general public to be conscious when burdened on painted taxes, commonly known as Kabu Kabu, which is being used for carrying criminal activities in the Federal Capital Territory. Kikelomo Okere has details.
Speaking on greatness, Olorunfemi, who was a victim of one chance that was not attended to at Maitama General Hospital, the Commissioner of Police says he has invited the Chief Medical Doctor of Maitama General Hospital for more investigation. He therefore other hospitals to attend to injured victims in distress while contacting the police for further clarification.
We've been repeatedly telling, even on press briefing, that medical doctors, what you need to do is that if you see somebody even with bullet wound, what you need to do is accept him in your hospital and alert the police. That is simple simplicity. There's nothing much more than that. As you alert the police, the man is being treated and the police will come there and do the needful. In this instant case we are talking about, we have already invited the CMD of the hospital to find out exactly whether what happened is true. So we're on that.
On the issue of the recent surge in cases involving alleged disappearance of main organs in the territory, the Commissioner of Police, who cautioned against false information and mob justice, urged residents to rely on the police for proper investigations.
This disappearance of male organ, that is only one we know. I think some people came across me last week or thereabout that they also heard about the disappearance of breast in Gwagwalada. We have not received such reports. I have not seen any breast disappearing. Even the male organ they are talking about, it is purely a psychological thing. And all the people that have been taken to the hospital, they are confirmed that the organ is active and intact. Thank you.
Some of the suspects paraded confessed to the crime which they were accused of.
Since when did you start this business?
Started August.
Huh?
August.
This year?
Yes, sir.
How many times have you operated?
6 times.
6 times?
Yes, sir.
Successfully?
Yes, sir.
Until you were caught?
Yes, sir.
How much have you made in this business?
I'm not realized that the money is not sometimes
50,000. And the first two our engine got bad. It was out of the 4 we succeeded twice.
Now tell
So
me,
it's the second one that they got me.
okay, tell me how you feel now. I mean, if you look back at where you were and where you are now.
And where you are.
I am not really happy about it. I'm really regretting the decision I took.
CP Aruna says the command has recorded significant achievement following swift response by the officers in their fight against crime in the FCT, while reiterating the commitment of the police to continue to protect the lives and properties of residents. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The Chief of Army Staff, COAS, Lieutenant General Lagbaja, has ordered an investigation into an allegation of poor feeding of frontline troops in the Northeast Theater of Operations. The Director of Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Nyema Nwachukwu, made this known in a statement on Tuesday in Abuja that the welfare of troops has been given premium by the present leadership of the Nigerian Army and was one of the vital pillars of the COAS command philosophy targeted at motivating the force. Nwachukwu assured the public and all Army personnel that a thorough investigation would be conducted to get to the bottom of the claims, making it clear that the Nigerian Army had always prioritized the welfare of troops, including their nutrition, adding that it has a comprehensive feeding system for troops, especially those serving at the front line. As well, the federal government is finalizing the development of the National Diphtheria Laboratory to conduct preliminary and confirmatory testing of the disease in the country. This is even as the government said there have been 13,204 reported suspected cases, out of which 8,406 were confirmed cases from 1,114 local government areas in 18 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The Director General of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, and Prevention, Ifedayo Adetifa, disclosed this on Tuesday at a press briefing on the update of the disease in Abuja. He added that the government has undertaken a comprehensive approach that includes disseminating public health advisories through media engagement and webinars, developing and distributing diphtheria social and behavior change materials, and coordinating stakeholders meeting for risk communications and community engagement. As well, the Department of Development Control, Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, has issued a stern warning to the previous owners of 165 revoked properties in the FCT, cautioning them to refrain from any involvement with these lands to avoid potential persecution. Mukhtar Galadima, the director of the department, gave the warning in Abuja on Sunday, while a steam-stopped attempt by some former owners to carry on with development activities on the revoked lands in Maitama, Abuja. He expressed concerns about these actions, especially in light of the land revocation orders accompanied by security personnel. Officials from the Development Control Department confiscated construction equipment discovered on the site, apprehended some of the workers for identification, and ordered others to vacate the premises. It's worth noting that the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, had revoked 165 land plots in the FCT due to the non-development of these properties, citing continuous violation of the terms outlined in the relevant sections of the Land Use Act. In response to this development, Galadima emphasized that the FCTA was determined to prevent any attempt to return to the revoked plot and act accordingly. He also cautioned the public, stating that the FCTA would not only dismantle any structures on revoked properties, but also initiate legal proceedings against those involved. The West African Examination Council, WAEC, has initiated the 76th meeting of the Nigeria Examination Committee to deliberate on cases of malpractice and irregularities arising from the 2023 West African Senior School Certificate Examination for school candidates. The body disclosed this on Tuesday via its official X-handle. Earlier on Monday, WAEC appointed Amos Josiah Dogut as the head of the Nigerian National Office in August. The examination body initially released the 2023 WAEC results, but the outcome of the 262 803 candidates were put on hold due to the instances of examination malpractice. However, the body has assured candidates that information about their results will be communicated after the NEC meeting concludes its deliberation. The 76th meeting of the Nigeria Examination Committee, NEC, to consider and decide on malpractice track irregularities cases arising from the conduct of WAEC for school candidates 2023 begins today. You're watching the Global TV's news cycle coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform using a Global TV NG and other handles not showing on your TV screen. We're back with more stories for you after the short break. Please don't go away. Welcome back. It's still the Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the news cycle from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. And now let's look at some foreign news. Russian state-controlled media outlets have reported on Storm X that about 145 drunk, unruly Russian troops have been sent to die in front lines in punishment squads. Russian soldiers fighting in Ukraine who were caught drinking or being insubordinate are forced into Storm X punishment squads and sent to the most dangerous part of the front lines to face likely death. According to a new report, at least 5 of these battalions staffed by ex-convicts and non-compliant troops were thrown into some of the heaviest fighting in a bid to repel Kiev's counter-offensive in eastern and southern Ukraine this summer. If the commandant catches anyone with a smell of alcohol on their breath, then they immediately send them to the storm squad, claimed the soldiers, speaking on condition of anonymity for fear of reprisal in Russia. Also, strong tremors were felt in Delhi Tuesday after multiple earthquakes hit Nepal. The first earthquake hit at 2:25 p.m. according to National Center for Seismology. There was also a 5.2 magnitude earthquake in Arunachal Pradesh at 3:27 p.m. and a 3.3 magnitude disturbance in Undercurrent minutes later. The epicenter for the strongest quake was 206 kilometers southwest of Joshimath in Uttarakhand and 284 north of Lucknow. Hunter Biden, the son of President Joe Biden, is expected to plead not guilty to charges of illegally owning a handgun on Tuesday. Prosecutors allege that Biden, 53, lied about his drug use as application form when he purchased the weapon in 2018. Biden has acknowledged that he was a heavy user of crack cocaine at the time, but denies breaking the law. He faces up to 25 years in prison if convicted of the 3 federal counts. A proposed plea deal to resolve the charges abruptly fell apart in July, meaning Biden was indicted shortly after. He was charged with 2 counts of making false statements and 1 count of illegal gun possession. The charges all relate to his purchase of a revolver at a Delaware gun store in October 2018, which he kept for around 11 days. 2 of the criminal counts against him, each punishable by up to 10 years, stem from the allegation that Biden lied about his drug use on the forms. A 3rd count related to his possession of a firearm, while a drug user is punishable for up to 5 years. In a court filing in September, in which his legal team unsuccessfully sought a virtual, not in-person court appearance, Biden's attorney, Abby Lower, said that his client would enter a plea of not guilty. He will appear in a federal courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware, which is the hometown of the Bidens. Still on the foreign news, Indonesia's President Joko Widodo on Monday inaugurated a $7.3 billion high-speed railway connecting the country's capital with the city of Baghdad, a China-backed project that has been marred with problems. The 142-kilometer 88.28-mile railway, one of the president's flagship infrastructure project and part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, has faced problems ranging from land procurement issues, pandemic-related delays, and ballooning costs. The maximum operating speed of the train could reach 350 kilometers per hour. Jokowi said, calling in the modernization of his country's mass transportation that is environmentally friendly. Luhut Badjatan, a senior minister overseeing the project, said at the launch that free trial rides on the bullet train, which have been on the way since the second week of September, will be extended and ticket prices will be implemented in mid-October. Following what is termed impressive recoveries from debtors and realization of assets of banks in liquidation, the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation (NDIC) has announced declaration of 16.18 billion naira liquidation dividends to depositors, creators, and shareholders of 20 banks in liquidation. This is contained in a statement signed by the Director of Communications and Public Affairs, Bashir Nuhu. The statement reads out that the corporation has commenced verification and payment of stakeholders covered by the declaration within 30 days, starting from 28 September 2023. It is instructive to note that the ongoing payment is equal to earlier payment of various sums, which cumulatively amounted to 45.45 billion naira as liquidation dividends in respect of the 20 banks as July 2023. Relevant stakeholders have been requested to visit any of the NDIC's offices closer to them or go to the claims page on the corporation website. Still on business news, as part of agreement of the federal government and the labor unions, the government has decided to approve a significant sum of 100 billion naira for high-capacity CNG buses to bolster the transportation sector. The plan was unveiled yesterday as part of the palliative measures to elevate the petrol subsidy pain during the meeting with NLC and TUC. The decision also encompasses the distribution of 55,000 CNG conversion kits to initiate an auto gas conversion initiative while waiting for the ongoing construction of advanced CNG stations across the country. According to the federal government, the plan will be unveiled within the next month with pilots across 10 campuses nationwide. The agreements were reached at the rescheduled parley at the State House in Abuja last night. The full agreements were contained in a memorandum of understanding signed by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Bako Lalong, Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Ikiruka Onyeje Ocha, and Minister of Information and National Orientation, Malam Mohammed Idris, NLC and TUC President Jero Festus Osifo, with the NLC General Secretary Emmanuel Boaja and his TUC counterpart Nuhu A. Toro signed for Labour. The Nigeria Stock Exchange NGX All Share Index appreciated by 29.52% to close at 66,382.14 index points in the third quarter of 2023. This development has pushed the market to its 15-year high on the back of strong positive sentiment. Analysts attributed the rally of the policy of the new administration of President Bola Tinubu harmonization of different exchange rates and the floating of the naira, despite concerns such as rising inflation, interest rate hikes, and apprehension surrounding the fallout of the 2023 general election. Investors' confidence remained strong, leading to increased buying activity. The positive sentiment among investors can be attributed to several factors, including the peaceful transition to power following the 2023 elections, favorable policies introduced by President Bola Tinubu's new administration, such as the removal of fuel subsidy, streamlining of exchange rate, and the floating of the naira. As well, the federal government has unveiled strategies to increase funding for Nigeria tech startup to $5 billion annually by the year 2027. The Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosu Tijani, disclosed this in his ministry draft strategy blueprint released on Monday. According to him, from around $1.2 billion in funding recorded in 2022, the government would ensure a 50% increase in funding every year to achieve the $5 billion target by 2027. While most Nigerian startups are currently sourcing their funding from foreign investors, Tijani said the government will drive an increase increase in local funding. According to him, the intent is to create an environment for startups to create and funding the required to thrive locally and promote the domiciliation of startups within the country. And now in sport, Victor Osimhen will aim to continue his newfound goal-scoring run of form with another goal in the UEFA Champions League when Napoli hosts record winners Real Madrid at the Diego Maradona Stadium today. Osimhen has scored 64 times, making 15 assets for Napoli in 109 games across all competitions since completing his record, €70 million. An African record 3 years ago from Lille, the 24-year-old will also seek to add to his tally in the Champions League against Real Madrid. The former Lille and Sporting Charlotte striker has scored 5 times and will look to equal Ahmed Musa's scoring record, 6 goals in the competition. Speaking ahead of the game, Napoli captain Giovanni Di Lorenzo has warned Real Madrid, insisting Osimhen hasn't changed. The Italy international spoke at a press conference on the eve of today's Champions League game. Despite Di Lorenzo's comment, several Italian reports claim Osimhen's Napoli future remains uncertain despite its latest Instagram message. And for more updates on sport, let's now listen to Sharon Ajay.
The Super Eagles will welcome back key players including Kenneth Omeruo, Bright Osai-Samuel, Alex Iwobi and Temre Murphy as they prepare for double-header international friendlies against Saudi Arabia and Mozambique in Portugal later this month. According to a statement by the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) yesterday, head coach Osei Santos Posairo has made strategic selection aiming to fine-tune his squad ahead of the crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying matches. The quartet of Omeruo, Osai-Samuel, Iwobi and Murphy missed out in the team's victory against São Tomé and Príncipe during last month's 2023 AFCON qualifiers in Uyo. In a different development, current African Scrabble champion Enoch Nwali has won the second edition of the Lekki Scrabble Classic Championship, which took place in Ikoyi Club 1938 at the weekend. Over 100 top players compete for the top prize in the 2-day championship. It was used to commemorate Nigeria's 63rd independent anniversary. Nwali pocketed 500,000 naira for emerging champion, just as monetary rewards and other gifts were given to outstanding players in different categories. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
And that's it on Global TV's news cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform using our Global TV NG and all the handles now showing on your TV screen. On behalf of the production team, I am Judith Peters. Thank you so very much for watching.